Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me again. And today I have my notebook with me because I'm going to be dropping some gems, some important things. So today I'm going to talk about getting a Canadian visa and also getting a master's degree or college degree to come study in Canada. Guys, the amount of people that I give consultation to for free, even though I'm not a visa agent, I don't know any serious thing, but I read up a lot on these things and I did mine all by myself. And it was all for my research, years of research, and I never stopped studying about it. And I've helped a couple of people too. So I feel like why not just make this video? Again, I am not a visa agent. I'm not a registered immigration practitioner. If you want that, go to Google and type it in. That's going to come up for you. I'm just a girl who applied for a master's admission all by herself, applied for a visa all by herself because I did extensive research and I talked to a lot of people. And I've also helped a couple of my friends to get their Canadian admission and visa. And I just feel like, yeah, I have a channel now. Why not just make a video so that when next any of my friend hits me up, I can just tell them, see, go to my YouTube channel and watch that video. So this is why I'm making this video today. It might be a little bit long, so bear with me, but it's gonna be really detailed because I have everything inside here. So let's get started. The first thing that I'm gonna say is you need to do your research. I know that a lot of people use agents because they don't have time to do their research or they are too lazy to do that. And I am not against you using agents, but I am against you using agents that are not registered. See, if you're not using agents that are registered, you're doing something wrong. Make sure you use registered agents, but that is by the side. So you need to do your research. You need to think of what program of study do I want to do. So there's this thing about Canada. I've noticed it from trends of people applying, people that are my friends, people that I've read up online about. Canada is pretty big on career progression. That is matching your proposed study with the previous study. For example, I studied mass communication in my undergraduate and I did a master's in communication. That shows career progression. But I noticed that people that are kind of like maybe studying mass communication in their undergraduate and want to come to Canada to do courses like maybe biology, they often get refused visas because there is no career progression. Where did biology come from all of a sudden? It's totally different if you studied mass communication as your undergraduate degree and then you worked in the biology field for like 4 years and you want to follow the path of biology. That is entirely different and you stand a chance getting a visa in that situation. But I'll say make sure there's career progression. Choose a course, have something in mind, and then we can move on from there. So now, when we've chosen a program, I will know what we want to follow in. It's time to consider if you want a master's degree or you want a college degree. And most times, a lot of the universities require you to have a B to get a master's admission, even though it is not like that is compulsory. I'm going to talk about that later. I have like two friends that work together on their package and we got admission and didn't even have up to a B. I'm going to talk about that later. But most universities require you to have a B, and that's a 3 out of 4. In Nigeria, that's about 3.5, a 2.1 for you to get a master's admission. So if you're not within that spectrum, I'll say if you don't have at least a 3 out of 5 in the Nigerian scale, you should look into getting a PGD admission, that is postgraduate diploma, postgraduate certificate admission. I'm not going to talk about that because that is probably the easiest thing to get in this world. Postgraduate certificate admission is easy peasy. You can get that easily. So today I'm just going to focus on getting a master's admission and that's just it. So once you've chosen the program you want to do and the kind of degree you want to go for, it's time to put in the work. So if you've evaluated yourself and you see that it's a master's degree you want to do, first thing I'm going to say is to start looking for universities that offer your program. And the best website to find this is universitystudy.ca. That website, just go onto that website. I'm going to leave the link in the description box and probably on my screen somewhere there. Go to universitystudy.ca, put in your program, put in the level of study, master's degree, all the universities that offer this program and similar programs are gonna pop up. Best, like that is the best tool ever. It saves you the work of going to a province and bringing out this university and looking at their program of study. Nah, that's a long thing. Just go to universitystudy.ca and everything comes up for you. And if on the other hand you want to go for a PGC or a PGD, most colleges that offer diverse programs are in Ontario. So I'll say go to ontariocolleges.ca and just type in your program. Type in, make sure you tick PGC or PGD. The colleges that offer this program are just gonna drop down. You're gonna see if it's fall resumption or winter resumption or spring. Very, very detailed. So once you have this and you have the universities, I'm pretty old school, so I still do all my things with my hand. What I did in my case was when I went to universitystudy.ca and I put in my course, mass communication on public relations, all the university that dropped down, I just put them in my notes. I wrote them down, University of Soso program. By the time I was done with my notes, I had like maybe 14 universities that really interested me. And that was when I knew, okay, it's time to get things done. It's time to bring them down and choose the ones that I want to apply to. And that is what our advice that you guys do. So now that we have like maybe 10 or 5 or 3 or 2 universities to pick from, it's time to look at the documents that these universities require from us for the program. So in my case, I had 5 universities that I chose that I wanted to apply to, and they all had different requirements. So that's why it's very, very important to look into the requirements. And I'm going to say some of the requirements. Look into IELTS requirements, English exams. Some universities require you to write IELTS, while some, you can waive it. Like my university I ended up going to on graduating form, they didn't require me to write IELTS, but I wrote a letter saying I was taught my undergraduate degree was in English language, so I don't require IELTS. Even if the university requires you to write English exam, You can go to your undergraduate university and get a letter stating that you were taught in English and send it to the university. They might waive it for you. A document that is pretty general amongst all universities for master's degree is your statement of purpose. Some people call it the letter of explanation, letter of reference. Some universities require 2, some universities require 3. Your transcript, your resume. For transcript, some universities don't accept Nigerian transcripts. Some require you to evaluate your transcript with WES. My university didn't require me to evaluate my transcript with WES, but I did it anyways because I wanted to know my CGPA in the Canadian scale. Other important information that you also have to check in these universities are deadline for application. If you want to resume in fall, most universities have their deadline for February or March. Also, you need to look at the tuition fee. This is very, very important. I've read up on a lot of people who apply to universities because yay, they offer my program and they get the admission and they realize that the tuition is too high for them to pay. It is very important that before you put in your application and submitting the $100 or $120 they want for application fee, check the university's tuition to confirm that it's within your budget. When I was doing mine, there were some universities that I really liked the program they offered, but the tuition was like 35K a year and I didn't have that kind of money, so I put them in the bin. So make sure you're choosing a university that is within your budget. Don't go, do your research, find out the price. You can also email them. These universities are very, very, very good that when you email them, they reply you. Most times, at least ones that I've had my experience with, every email that I sent to them, they replied me, either answering my question or giving me or referring me to a link in their website where the answer is. So don't be scared to ask these people questions. They will most likely reply you and give you the information that you need. You should also check their CGPA requirement. Like I said before, most schools require that you have a B, which is a 3 out of a 4 Canadian standard, but you can work your way through. I think it's time for me to just give you a little snip on how to work your way through it. So oftentimes people think the only way you can get a master's admission is through your CGPA, and I say that is a lie. The fact is that you have your letter of reference and your statement of purpose and your transcripts. You have 3 things. Transcripts and CGPA is just 1 out of 3. You can use the other 2 things to sell yourself up. Personally, I love statement of purpose. I've written statement of purpose for few people and I've also reviewed quite a lot. Your statement of purpose and letter of intent is the best tool to sell yourself. This is the tool to hype yourself. At 3.0 in your undergrad, this is the time to use your statement of purpose to bring you up a little higher. I said this video is going to be very detailed. I'm going to tell you some important things that should be in your statement of purpose, just how you should draft it and what it should look like. Let me bring up my notes so I can tell you. So I view statement of purpose or letter of intent or letter of explanation, whatever you choose to call it, as a way to tell your story. This is an avenue to share your story with the graduate committee, with the people that are reviewing your application. And there's some important things that should be in it. You talk about the interest in your career and this program that you want to apply to and what led you to choosing this career of study. It might be something like, in my case, when I was younger, I really wanted to be on TV. I wanted to be a broadcaster. I wanted to say the news. I wanted to just be on TV. And this was what interested me into studying mass communication, even though along the line I switched my area of specialization. But that was what interested me in studying mass communication. So I wrote in my statement of purpose, just write about what interested you in the program. Tell them what you discovered while studying this program. I liked to be a broadcaster when I was younger. But then I got into mass communication and I realized that, whoa, mass comm is not only about broadcast. There is the advertising, there is corporate communications, and then I developed a love for public relations and advertising. So tell them what you discovered in the program and how it made you more interested and fascinated. And if you did not discover anything, just tell them how the program has met your expectation, even above and beyond what you visualized when you initially went into the program. If you did any form of internship or co-op, talk about it, talk about your experiences, talk about how the classroom experience is different from the practical real life experience, or how they are similar, or how the practical life and real life everyday work experience sheds more light on things you learned in the classroom. Just make sure you're giving them something detailed. Sell yourself. Tell them what you learned while doing your internship and how you enjoyed your internship. Talk about how this real life experiences, both during your internship and in classroom, really brought out the inspiration that yes, I want to pursue a graduate study in this program. This is my field. This is where I see myself, and I want more degrees. I want more education in this program. Just give it to them. Let them know about it. Then you should also talk about why did you choose the school. Read up on the school stats. Read up on the city. Tell them why you choose the school. Some things are the best school. You read up on so. That is the best school that offer this program. You talk to some alumni and they give you very positive review, and you're like, yeah, this is what I want for myself too. For example, my school is the first university in Canada to offer the public relations program. That was a talking point for me. Yeah, my school is the pioneer. Why not go to the pioneer? Why go to any other schools when the pioneer is there wanting me? Do you get it? Talk about why Canada. Talk about how diverse Canada is. How Canada is a melting point for people from different cultures and country, and how you know you're going to learn a lot with those people being in your classroom, because the reality is Canada is very diverse. There are deep people from different countries in your classroom. When they bring in their experiences, because it's graduate school, these people most likely have work experience and undergraduate experience. So when they bring in their experience to the class and they share with you, you learn different point of views, which is fact. So talk about that too, and just run it up really nicely. I mean, sell yourself, sell your market. Sell yourself, sell your market, sell your expertise, sell your interest. Let them see that, yeah, this person is very good for us. This person will contribute to the school. And also talk about how you believe that you're going to integrate yourself well in the community, because you love new adventures, you love new experiences. Because leaving your country to Canada actually shows that you like adventure. It is not, especially if you're from Africa, if you're Nigerian, it's a long flight to come here. You like adventure, you like to learn new things, you like to meet new people. Let them know that. So your statement of purpose is just one tool that you can use to sell yourself. Another tool that you can use to sell yourself is the letter of recommendation. A lot of people underestimate the power of the letter of recommendation, or your reference letter, whatever you decide to call it. See, there is power in that. The statement of purpose is you talking about yourself, selling yourself, hyping up yourself, tooting your own horn. The letter of recommendation is great because this is somebody that has experienced your greatness, selling you and hyping you up. And it is also very important. I'm just going to tell you some things that I find really important. I think you should include in your letter of recommendation. And the first thing is, make sure the person that you are using knows you thoroughly and is willing to write a detailed letter of recommendation for you. A lot of people just go to any random person that they don't have a close relationship with to write a letter of recommendation for them. I understand that, yeah, sometimes that is the option you have left, but I would advise that if you want a good letter of recommendation and if you want it to place you in a high position, give you an opportunity to get admission, you really, 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 really need to let the person that cares about you write a letter of recommendation for you. So the first thing is, the person has to state the relationship that you guys have, the relationship and how long they've known you for. This will establish that, okay, Free is qualified to talk about you. Also, the person has to express their happiness and eagerness that, yeah, you contacted them to write this letter for you, which is like a privilege. Yeah, even if it's not the reality, let the person put it inside that letter, okay? Let them write about how happy they are that you are pursuing a graduate study, because they know you have interest in learning and you never want to stop learning. Also write about the skills that you exhibited while you were working with them. Most likely it's going to be a professional referee. Let them talk about how patient you are, how detailed you are, how you're very dedicated to work. You come to work even before opening time, and you go, like if you're Nigerian, you know that closing time is not really closing time, and how you stay late to finish up your work even when when it's closing hour already. Let them write about all those things. Let them also get a little bit personal. Let them talk about your personal skill, maybe your kindness to your fellow employees, because it will also come into place in the university. Universities don't want to give their admission to mean people. They want to give it to people that are kind, people that can create a community. That is what they want. So let them get a little bit personal and talk about your personal skills too. Now it's time to talk about the projects that you embarked on. What project did you champion? What project did you do diligently? This letter of reference has to be detailed, so they need to put examples. Letter of reference, and I see that they are so vague. You see things like John handled the project that we had and he did it diligently. That is good, but that is not good enough. Like John single-handedly took a project with a client, a team for himself, and he finished up and submitted it even before the deadline. The project earned the organization maybe 10 million naira, $10 million. Let it be very detailed. Let it tell what kind of person you are and how you have leadership skills. Another point that I think is worthy of mentioning is how you work well with people, your teamwork skills, because graduate study is more about teamwork than about individualism. Your teamwork skills, how you work well with people, and how they believe that you're going to immerse yourself well in the university and the community that you want to join. And finally, let them talk about how fulfilling it is for them as a boss that you're making this career and academic progress to achieve your goal, and it is what you have always talked about and what they have always wanted for you. Let them also include that the school shouldn't hesitate to contact them if they have any more information. Put their phone number, their email address, and their full names, and I feel like that is an award-winning letter of reference. Write your letter of reference like that, and you are going to get that admission even if you don't have a B. Don't quote me. Now you know the program you want to study, you have your letter of reference, you have almost all the documents they need ready. It is time to connect with people. And my two favorite forums that I used while I was applying for my study permit and my admission, canadavisa.com and nairaland.com. I'm going to leave this website in the description box so that you can go back. Lots of people on this website that are willing to help you. Sometimes I just go onto those forums and I just read and just get all the knowledge and just soak it in and just write it in my notes so that I don't forget about it. I met people in my school who had taken my program on these forums. I just contacted them. Hi, this is Folake, and I see that you finished for my school, or you're currently in my school and you're taking this program. I am also interested in the program, and if you don't mind, can I contact you? Most of the time, these people will say yes. That's good. Talk to them about it. Ask them how the program was for them. Did it meet up to expectation? Did they enjoy it? Did they like the school? Get to know more about the schools from them and the program you want to study. Also, you can even tell them, please, can you go through my statement of purpose for me? This is what I've come up with, and I really want to get this admission. A lot of them are very nice, and they're going to do this thing for you. So connect with people, talk to them, don't be shy, talk to them. Not everyone will reply you, but I'm sure a couple people will reply you. I reply people when they contact me on these forums, and I've messaged people on these forums too, and they've replied me. So if I reply and if I've contacted people and they reply me, I think that's good enough. You'll see at least one person to reply you. Then it's now time to apply to the schools. Right now I'm about to preach what I did not practice, but I'm going to say that please apply to at least 2 universities. If you really want the admission, apply to at least 2 universities. In my case, I applied to just my university because I was pretty confident that I was going to get it. The application was perfecto. I finished with a 2-1. and I had my transcript evaluated to the Canadian degree, which showed that I had way above 3.0. My 2 letters of references were perfect. My statement of purpose was perfect, and I was pretty much fresh out of uni, or out of my undergraduate uni. So I was confident that I was going to get the admission. So I just chose one school that I really loved their syllabus, and I just applied to it. But I usually advise that people apply to 2 schools because fuck up can happen anytime. And especially if you've put your mind to it that you really want to start your master's degree that particular year or that particular semester you want to start, you need to give yourself options. Open up options for yourself. Choose 2 or 3 best schools that you like and just apply to them. When you apply to these schools, some schools require you to have a supervisor before you apply, and some schools don't require. In my case, my school did not require me to have a supervisor before applying. University of Calgary required me to get a supervisor, and getting a supervisor is not the easiest task in the whole world, but I have couple tips that can help you in getting a supervisor. These tips I got from 2 professors in Canada, and just told me that this is what they expect when students reach out to them. I'm just gonna share with you as usual because I love sharing, and maybe just write them down and just draft your email to the supervisor along these lines. First thing that you need to include in the first paragraph is who you are, what is your name, what country are you from. Then talk about your past study and what country you had this education in. Talk about your work experience in that field. Go a little bit detailed. Don't make it too long because I talked to this professor and they were like, we don't like it too long, but we don't like it too short too. So make sure it's on the average. It's not too much. It's not too much and it's not too little. So talk about your work experience in the field. Then talk about your interests. Your interest in master's degree. Then in the next paragraph you need to talk about why you want them to be your supervisor, and the first thing is talk about how you have reviewed their bio or their homepage, and talk about how their research interest matches your own research interest. To tell them that when you read about their research interest, you were fascinated with them and you were like, wow, this is what I like to, and I would like to work with you. About how when you read about their research interest, you were fascinated and you were like very eager to message them and share your research with them and let them know that this is what you've done in the past and this is your current research plan. Also, when you're reaching out to these professors, they know when you've read their publications and when you've not read their publication. So at least take time to read at least 2 of their publications. A little bit. It doesn't have to be detailed, but just talk a little bit about their publication, what you liked about it, what you support, critique it a little bit. So that's like critical thinking. Critique their publication a little bit, maybe their conclusion or something. It's just to show that you've read up on them. You know their research interest, you've read up on their research interest, you've done extensive study on it, and you're not just reaching out to them general mail. You're not just shooting out a general mail to them. You can also add your opinion to their publication or any paper they've written. Maybe you have an advanced opinion or a different opinion. Just share with them in the email. Don't make it too long. Make it brief and concise. Ask them when they're taking new students for their future or current research project that they have right now, and let them know that you would love to work with a reputable professor like them or highly decorated Professor C. You need to use the adjectives, those adjectives to qualify them. Express how you would love to work with them if they are taking student right now. If you need funding, this might be the perfect time to sneak it in a little bit and just ask them if you would love to work with them and you will be glad if they have funding and they want to assist you, something like that. Also, you need to tell them what your proposed research is going to be in and confirm from them if they encourage you to apply for the admission, because some universities require that the professors have to give you go ahead before you can apply for the admission. So tell them about your proposed topic and ask them if you're encouraged to apply for the admission. Also, it is important to include your resume, your transcript, and if you have GMAT or GRE or any of those exams, if they are required, include it too. This email should not be more than 3 to 4 paragraphs, not too long, not too short, so they can just read it in about 5 minutes. and they can go through your resume and your transcripts to see if they are interested in it. I didn't need to do this because my university did not require this. But if you need to reach out to a supervisor before you get admission, this is just the simplest way to do it, and you should get one. Now that you have all your documents, you've gotten your transcript, you've gotten your letter of recommendation, you've gotten the letter to the supervisor, probably gotten the supervisor by the way, and you've applied, you've paid your application fee. It is time to follow up. Don't just send your documents and ignore it. You need to contact these people and ask them if they received all of your documents. You need to contact them, you need to email them and ask them questions. Sometimes I've had friends apply for admission and 2 months, 3 months, they are not hearing anything from them and they're not doing anything. No, you need to keep sending them emails. Hi ma, hi sir, this is my application number. I applied for this admission and I haven't heard back. Is there a problem? Is there anything that I need to know? Are you working on it? You need to follow up with this, and then hopefully we get the admission and it's time to apply for a study visa, which I'm going to talk about soon.